And we're recording. Oh, I see. So in this discussion, we're going to take you through our plans for Round Rua, the next general funding round we've got coming up. We'll talk about our non-fiction funding, scripted. We'll talk about the screen production rebate, funding for content development, tamariki content, industry development and capability, as well as marketing and publicity. And we'll end by giving you all the details of the deadlines for the round as well. And like I say, plenty of time to answer all of your questions. So to get us started on nonfiction, I'll hand over to Glenn Asmar, who's going to talk about that.
Kia ora koutou. I'm Glenn Asmar. I'm an Associate Head of Funding and Acting Head of Funding with Kelly. So nonfiction, this round, we are accepting applications for all types of nonfiction. So documentaries, general factual, comedy, panel shows, unscripted comedy shows. And we've got approximately $9 million allocated. And as the slide says, we're looking for digital first kind of strategies. And we're definitely going to prioritize local formats, although in the current environment, we're aware that we are here to support linear television, maybe more than we have in the past. So there may be some overseas IP that we get applications for, but as we have noted, we are prioritizing local IP. So moving on to the next slide, because journalism forms part of the non-fiction food tier. So approximately of the 9 million, about 5 million has been allocated for journalism projects. This is our engagement in this space post-PIDGE, and the kind of projects that we're looking at, and this is all detailed obviously in the guidelines, but audiovisual projects are prioritized. We're looking for cost-effective projects that will extend the range of content that's currently out there. We don't have a lot of money, so it's about $5 million, as I said. So we're going to have to make some really tough decisions because I suspect we're going to get more applications than we have available funding. But if you've got any queries on that space, give me a call or Gabrielle when she gets back from her annual leave. Okay, that's me for that, and I'm going to pass to my colleague Hipari, who's going to talk to you about scripted.
Tēnā koutou. I just also wanted to remind everybody in the chat, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to send those through in the chat, because I'll be happy to tackle those as we go through. So yes, for scripted in this round, we've got a soft cap of about $6 million all up. Our priorities applications sitting between the 1 million to, again, a soft cap of $3 million in this round. Now, we would consider applications any above that figure, but just note that this is a relatively constrained round of $6 million total available. So if you do have a query above the 3 million, please get in touch with us beforehand and we can basically make an assessment about allowing an exception on a case-to-case basis. Of course, one of the priorities in this round will be projects of third-party funding and digital-first releases. And on the note of third-party funding, could we please go to the next slide? Another aspect of the round will be the NZ Screen Production Rebate, or the SPUR as it is referred to. Just really quickly, this is a government rebate that will cover up to 40% of qualifying New Zealand expenditure for a production. That could be for scripted or non-fiction productions. New Zealand On Air is primarily seeking to be last in funders. The guidelines to qualify for the rebate, I'll actually put a link in the chat because it can be quite complex, but in a nutshell, to qualify for the rebate, you need to have at least 25% non-government funding as part of your finance plan. Now, 10% of that 25% needs to be some form of market investment, be that a platform license fee, a distribution advance, pre-sale, things of that nature. Funding requests that have Spirit as part of their finance plan are capped at $2.5 million per project in this round. But again, if you are looking to exceed that amount, please get in touch and we might be able to make an exception on a case-by-case basis. So that's it for the screen production rebate. I would then now like to pass on to Nicole.
I know we're going through this quite fast at pace. Is everybody okay? Give us a thumbs up that you're still with us and yeah, sweet. All right, so I'm here to talk about the music sync licensing, which is a fantastic addition to the scripted project. So if you're going for bringing in a scripted project, you can apply for up to $250,000 per project. Now the budget for this must be ring-fenced and only used for the music sync licensing. So it might be a good idea to have a music supervisor or music coordinator on board to help you with all that. They know what to do. And just as a note, previously funded projects are not eligible for this. We sort of have the expectation that when you're putting your application together, this is something that you definitely want to front foot and put early on in the process, post-production. And yeah, it's a big focus for us on New Zealand music. We know how talented our peeps are. So this only applies to the scripted applications coming in. There's a strong rationale for integration of local music, and we will be looking at that if you're thinking of applying for this additional QTIP. Is there a question? Do I need to look at the questions? Or is that later?
No, that's just me popping a link in, sorry.
That's you. All right, that's you putting. Oh yeah, so Nina's popped up the SPUR guidelines, guys, if you want to have a little look at that. But right now I'm gonna hand it over to my awesome colleague, Stephen. Come on down.
Kia ora, Nicole. Kia ora koutou. Called Stephen Tokuingoa. I am a member of the funding team who looks after development. We are accepting applications supported and unsupported in this round. We have a limited amount of funding available because we have quite a big development slate already. If you're coming in with a platform support, we do expect that to be matched by the platform, the ask of us. Next slide, please. Okay, unsupported, this is highly contested. This is when you come in without a platform support. And you'll need to come in with a really strong plan and a really strong argument to make yours stand out. We're anticipating a lot of applications, and this is highly contested. Remember, all NZ funding is contestable funding. Must have no outstanding NZ unsupported development contracts and at least one above the line credit for one of the key creatives in your team. And now handing over to Anna, who's going to talk about children's funding.
Kia ora, Stephen. Kia ora koutou katoa. Ko Anna Curry toku ingoa, and yeah, I'm a senior funding policy advisor here at New Zealand On Air. Talking about tamariki children's applications in this round. We have about 5 million allocated for children's applications in this round. Both scripted and non-fiction children's applications will be considered, but this round is not open to games applications. We strongly encourage proposals to include a multi-platform distribution plan as part of your application, and that plan must include a local platform that's agreed to distribute your content. They can be either a primary or a secondary platform. YouTube can also be involved in that multi-platform plan, either as a primary or a secondary platform. I guess another thing I'd say is that a strong tamariki application will have read and incorporated our children's funding strategy, which is linked to in the guidelines, and would also have a good understanding of how tamariki are engaging with content, and that would be reflected in your proposal. But any other questions about children's applications, happy to answer them now or later when you've had a think. But for now, I'll pass back to Glenn, who's going to talk about discoverability and capability funding in this round.
Kia ora. So this is our old IDF strand of funding. It's now been separated into capability and discoverability, as the slide says. Capability is around skills development for industry professionals. That tends to be early to mid-career rather than people who want to get into the industry. We generally do our workshops or training in association with industry guilds or professional bodies. We also like budgets we tend to be minority funders and co-fund with other agencies or people that have money that want to invest in the same project as us. Discoverability that basically covers events and awards, and it's kind of about celebrating the mahi that you guys do, and that generally requires a sponsorship agreement, and you'll be dealing with our comms people if you get funding for that. I guess the overarching comment around this is that there is limited pūtea. Sorry to be harping onto that, but our funding is constrained. So if you've got a new project, probably a good idea to give me a call, and I can just give you an idea as to what your likely ability to access that funding might be. But yeah, it's a pretty small fund compared to our other funding. So that's that. I'm passing over to my colleague Cez, who's going to talk to you about marketing and publicity.
Kia ora, I'm Sarah. I look after audience and media at New Zealand On Air, and we want you to be thinking about your marketing really early on in your project. So you're able to apply for up to 15K for marketing and the creation of marketing assets in your application. We're wanting to see line items for what they are, so things like publicists, graphic designers, social media boosts, the creation of assets, just thinking in a little bit of detail about what you do with your marketing pūtea. That budget does need to be ring-fenced. You can also, in the application process, tick the box for a discoverability marketing campaign if that's of interest. So in the past, our media partner Contagion have run all of these marketing campaigns in conjunction with the platform and yourselves. Going forward, there will be a little bit of pūtea set aside that if you would like to run your own marketing campaign, we can consider that. So not all campaigns, not all applications will get a campaign. There's a selection criteria. So just give us as much information about your marketing strategy in your application so we can make that decision. Over to you, Kelly. You might be muted, Kelly.
Oh, I just said some really good stuff, so sorry about that. And how classic to be on mute. So we just wanted to let everybody know that alongside Round Rua, we are running our annual co-fund with Te Mangai Pāho. So we're just letting you know the dates of that. The guidelines for it will be released on the 13th of August. With applications opening on the 22nd and a deadline of the 12th of September. Our co-fund with Te Mangai Pāho is generally seeking high quality scripted Māori content of 30% today or above, but all of that information will be in the guidelines when they're released on the 13th of August. I'll hand over now back to Round Rua to Hana, who is going to talk you through the key dates that you need to be aware of for Round Rua.
Hello, kia ora koutou. My name is Hana. I am the funding administrator on the funding team at New Zealand On Air. So important dates. First of all, thank you for being here at the webinar on the 31st of July. Yay. And our funding round opens for applications on the 22nd of August. And if you haven't registered on our funding portal already, please do so as soon as possible because it takes about, I'm going to say, 3 working days for yours truly to, process the registration. But for instance, if you were to register on the day, then chances are you are probably not going to get your application in on time. Which brings us to the day itself, 12th of September, 4 p.m. Please get your applications in by that date. Late applications will not be considered.
unless, I don't know, maybe like send me some nice goodies or something. And yeah, I don't know. So yeah, so that's when it closes. And oh gosh, I can't see my other screen where the PowerPoint is. Oh, wait, can I? Oh no. Oh God, sorry. And then the big day, 22nd of November, almost a month before Christmas, we confirmed the decisions of Round Rua. And that's again through the portal, and we send you lovely little letters confirming whether or not we are funding your project. Party. Cool. I'm gonna pass back to Kelly. Thanks.
Kia ora, Hannah. I'm not on mute this time. As you may be aware, there are a limit to the number of applications that platforms or producers can submit in each round. This is to try to constrain the number of applications that we get, and therefore the number percentage of applications that are unsuccessful. So if you're a producer, you can submit a maximum of 4 applications, but the limit is 2 per category. So 2 nonfiction or 2 scripted or content development. So total of 4 applications, but a maximum of 2 from each category: nonfiction, scripted, and content development. Platforms have a maximum of 10 applications that they can support, which does exclude returning series, tamariki projects as well. And I think now it's just for us to answer any questions that you've got. So Nina, have there been questions in the chat?
Yes, there has. I've got 3 to start with. So the first one is, it would be great to have more examples of what radical sharing is.
Sure. So radical sharing is when platforms are willing to make their content available to other platforms as well. So if you've got a project that you think would benefit from some radical sharing, have a chat to your platform, but also if you want more information about it, you can talk to us as well. It tends to be something that RNZ is big on, and I think it's a term that they use as part of their strategy. Afternoon.